Today I have in my grubby hands is a new FMS F-86 Saber 80mm EDF. Say that 3 times fast. Anyways, the F-86 is notable as being the first U.S. jet fighter with swept wings that saw frontline service. It also introduced advanced features like a radar-guided gun sight and the ability to go supersonic in a dive. It served admirably as a frontline fighter during the Korean War. And now FMS has its own version and features a 48-inch wingspan and comes in 2 liveries. Some pretty advanced features like a functional air brake. So let's take a look inside and see what we have in the box. Real quick before we get started, I just wanted to mention that the HobbyView apparel store is open. Show your support for this channel with HobbyView branded shirts, caps, mugs, and more. Just go to hobbyview.myspreadshop.com. FMS did a really good job packing a fairly large model into a surprisingly small box. The first thing I noticed is that the surface finish is a bit different than a typical foamy. It's both very smooth with no visible cell lines, but also has an almost sandpaper-like micro-texture to it. Both the flaps and ailerons have hidden hinges and ball-link connectors. As I mentioned, the box is impressively tightly packed with a second layer of goodies. Fuselage has a lot going on with panel lines and a rather large dragon decal. I quite like the different color of the gun ports. The nose intake is open to the fan, but is mostly restricted, which is why there are 2 sets of auxiliary intakes on the bottom and a couple of smaller ones on the sides. A little unusual, but not overly obtrusive. At the wing roots is a DB9 connector for your old VGA monitor, I mean, for the wing servo connections. Battery bay is reasonably large, where I notice a small distribution module. And a warning label that's strikingly sinister. Retaining straps hold close the spring-loaded gear doors, which are activated by the main wheels. Clever. I was surprised to see the battery connectors is an EC5, which is what I use, and not the usual XT60. I couldn't help but play with air brakes a bit. The fan motor looks to be an in-rudder type with integrated cooling fan. Fuselage is in 2 pieces with the bolt-on tail section having rear lights. The cockpit is impressive with a... Wait, is that an F-18 symbol on his shoulders? Well, anachronisms aside, the cockpit has some nifty details, like weathered rear cockpit deck and detailed upper ejection seat. The stabilizers have microservos embedded in them, and more ball-link connectors. I guess I got lucky with the #1 quality inspector. There's not a whole lot of parts needed to assemble things. Trump tanks are a nice touch and slide into slots in the wings. Alright, assembly starts with the silver bullet fuselage, where the wing tube is installed. And gear doors are unbound. Wings are then slid into place. This is where the quick connector comes in handy. 4 screws, 2 per wing, hold the wings into place. Next up is the tail section, where the servo connections are fished through before the whole assembly slides into place. Using a servo tester, connect up the flap channel, which opens up the air brakes, so you can install the screws. Oh, just check out those scale details. The elevator Y harness can now be used. For the horizontal stabilizer, note the tail lights plug into one of the harness leads. The wiring will get a little cumbersome. Just shove it in the best you can. 3 more screws holds the whole tail assembly in place. Pitot tube has a nice screw-in receptacle. Now we get to install all the ball links. I did need to readjust the lengths of several of them. It's gear dropping time. This is actually the first time I've gotten a good look at the gear. There's a pretty stout metal stabilizer bar on the nose gear. I also noticed the nose lights for the first time. All the gear has spring-loaded oleo struts. Alright, without the battery, she's a bit of a tail-sitter. So let's release the servo and power wires, and wire up the receiver. This is where I noticed the flaps and air brakes are linked together. Fortunately, they use a Y harness that lets you separate the two and operate them by individual receiver channels. Time to put that complimentary Velcro to use. And check the control throws. Okay, now that I separated the flaps from the air brakes, which were both on the flap channel, but a nice handy little Y connector that you can disconnect. So that's a nice feature in case you don't have enough channels. So now I have the flaps are separate from the air brakes. I might slow them down a little bit, but I actually have 2-position air brakes, mid and full, but they're small, so I doubt I'll be using mid, but it's just because it's on a 3-position switch. So now they are separate, and that's just like the real world F-86. Seems now I've run out of things to assemble, so I guess she's ready to go. Wait, just how does the canopy come off? Ah, that's nasty. Ah, very clever. Hi, thanks for watching. Please take a look at the video description below for special HobbyView sales and discounts. Your purchases help support this channel. Happy modeling!